Welcome. I'm so glad that you can join me today at Spadina and Davenport, Toronto, downtown, old Toronto. And right behind me is this castle that was prehistoric for an accountant who was very fraudulent and conned the whole community and got to stay in this castle with his wife and family and whatever. And so the remnants of this historical building that people come to, the exterior and the interior to get in, and is $30 a person. And you just go into the back and you can enjoy the trail, the backyard, if you will, and garden of this place called Casa Loma. And so, my name is Reverend Maria Arvanitidis, and in case you did not know, this is an audio-visual version of my novel called TheSovereignLight, named after my ministry, A Course in Metaphysical Spiritualities. There's 319 lessons, and today we've made it up to 123. So it's pages 397 and 398 of 852. And if you would like to start from the beginning, you can join me as a creator, capital R, small m, capital A, on Patreon. And once in a while, when you notice on these YouTube sampled videos that I offer for free, and then, after a while, I just unlist it. And so you can also join, and it's called Love's Creation Unlimited. That's my YouTube channel. I've had that channel, well over going on over 8 years now. And so it's a channel of creative self-expression. And this is a metaphysical spirituality enlightenment program that helps to work through all the energetic blockages, our traumas, are self-inflicted throughout many, many lifetimes from our soul and oversoul, that we may clear and lighten up. What does lighten up mean? To enlighten and lighten up from within the heart. Because the mind likes to go in the future and worry about it and have remorse and guilt from the past, and a lot of things that the past it recreates from its ego mind, whereas the heart is unfolding within every moment these things called miracles in very subtle ways that it does notice when its mind is cleared from all that clutter. And so these are emotional and things called shadow work that we've been working through and sampling a lot of meditations and visualizations, remotely viewing things, and so on and so forth, and affirmation to get the mind going so that we may feel again, or vice versa. And so, with that said, for those of you who have joined me here, I really, really appreciate your presence. So if you have any handheld devices or any other distractions operating behind a heavy machinery, like driving or anything like that, just put everything away. Find a comfortable place and whenever you're ready, just take a few deep breaths in and out. And in. And stretching your arms out if you're standing or sitting in a comfortable position. And while you're doing these movements, you can breathe in and out. Find your center and anchor and ground. Feel that stillness sinking in, that peaceful place of surrender and trust within this moment of your presence. Very much valued, 100%. Take that in and feel your presence right here, right now, unfolding every awareness within every moment that motions through you. Every breath in and out into your reality that you create. And you can opt to have your eyes closed or open. And so here we go. Sounds good? And at any time you feel like pausing throughout any kind of meditation or anything you need to slow down or redo, you can do so. When the self enters into its physical vessel, it can pass through a tunnel. And from its very first breath, a light so pure ignites. It then becomes aware and awakened into consciousness. And from that first moment of the limbic system, that flight or fight place gets recognized, and this great big panic and fear and a yell out of a scream, I'm here. And so from this consciousness, the self will then descend and create a spectrum of colors that too will become, and for its reality, into fractals as its separated fields. Hanging on to the experiences of such unconscious separations and to distinguish them as its truth is what creates suffering. Did I mention it's plus tax? Nobody cares to actually add the tax when they say $30 per person. Plus, if you want to park in here, side street parking is only for an hour. If you want to park in here, it's an extra 15 plus tax. So you kind of figure that we have 13% tax on every dollar. And so they don't always, you got to calculate it, right? It's not like Ghaziland where it's included. And when they say this is the flat rate, whatever I'm saying here, the taxes is already included and it's a flat rate fee. That's what I normally have with my Peerless Moments business proprietorship. When I say certain prices, it's everything's included, so it's a flat rate. And it doesn't sound very well for those who have large incorporated occultism, if you will, it's called. And they're connected with others and restrictions and legal implications. But for nonprofit, I noticed you got to actually be making more money than for an actual profit corporation. And so this is what charities are actually very corrupted. And the majority of the world doesn't recognize how corrupted it is until they go through the to the rigmarole process of, oh yeah, I want to become a nonprofit or incorporated and start all these enterprises, that they start to realize how corrupted the system really is. With that said, I'm on the outside here, on the free aspect of this tourist attraction called Casa Loma, and enjoying it without any kind of suffering to kind of show up on this ego-driven concept of, I'm here and this is the shallow part of my existence. How great it looks, fantastic. And so suffering does not buy anything, and yet the thought that lingers to believe is that it does hold for any value. That it must barter over and for all that is wanted with the many of this world can be suspect to nonsense. And from the outside, just like the cover of a book, this castle does look beautiful, doesn't it? I really much enjoy the background. And there's nothing more to see here. So why not opt to close your eyes and go inward into that beauty of abundance and visualization as we begin the activation for today. You can listen in, say it along, or repeat after me in any kind of way that it can filter through your day. And let's begin. I share my will with the universe and its collective to co-inspire with this happiness. I share my will with the universe and its collective to co-inspire with this happiness. I share my will with the universe and its collective to co-inspire with this happiness. I share my will with the universe and its collective to co-inspire with this happiness. There are the areas within the soul that in order to be reminded of the self, it must experience the drama and other electrical and emotional charges. In this way, the self can remember, and from the light to bring it out for a confrontation. And just feel that out for a moment. The leverage that the self has to go on within every given moment. This is what it means to have contraction and expansion. Back and forth from soul to spirit. The light will attract to it all the distortions and shadow aspects, and from its memory to integrate. By untying these magnetic knots, releasing and letting go back into the light of spiritual consciousness. Uprooted from the dark and hidden secret places of the mind, the need to suffer has retired as teacher and from under to uphold the self with. Accept the emotional triggers and as the activated forms of energy that they represent in whatever matter or experience, and for whatever feeling they bring on to be experienced. All the engagements and disengagements unconditionally responsible in a light-hearted, self-creative expression. I share my will with the universe and its collective to co-create and co-inspire with this happiness. Today's attempt to cry when the need arises and really be in touch with these emotions that come to surface. Let go of the weakened hold of pain and having to explain and justify the cause of being. Because when it has no power, it cannot accomplish for anything and is left purposeless. The enslavement to this lack and everything that the self might think of offers by stuffing it back down rather. It must be set free and with compassion to join the passionate state of joy, coming with passion. Just feel this state. Let it sink in and filter through. I share my will with the universe and its collective to co-inspire with this happiness. The universe collective's preference has placed in the self the happiness that for the next few days and to continue is devoted practice to it. What resonates as beauty and unconditional love? And on the other hand, what resonates as duty and commitment with conditional attachment of surface love? Go deeper and see the beauty. Within the heart rests the home for peace and the entrance to enlightenment. It opens up the higher heart, if you will, and the exchange back and forth from higher mind. The heart is the bridge, and from the divine life force to enlightenment. By accepting this, begin the practice, living in the moment and anchoring from the heart. Engaging with everything that unfolds and having the discernment to respond and co-engage with unconditionally allows for a certain kind of reality that miracles can exist. And so go deep and sink into the function within the mind to choose the will for happiness. The love that has created the self and is loving as itself, it has no need and to be less loving to its child within. The inner child, our intuition, this gut creator perspective that we filter through, our subconscious. Pause frequently to acknowledge the sacred and sacral center place, the feeling and of the universal collective's will within the solar plexus for happiness and making it upward to the heart once more, it as a function for the self. From the merging of the subconscious mind and with that of the conscious mind, these two worlds can combine as one. It can only and possibly be conceivable within the higher state of consciousness, known as enlightenment. As a double strand awareness, the third, and from this awareness, reality can unwind into a multi-layered dimensional world. The purpose in this way is to gain the wisdom, release for all the weighted down experiences from before and back to purest state again. And from there, all awareness, including the unknowable, can be accessed. Granted. Nothing can be taken for granted in this place, this state of being. Nothing to express to why this cause for being. That we must come up with. The approval comes from us, and the acceptance to the leverage of the level of engagement. And I will leave you with this once more to repeat and let it sink in with every breath. I share my will with the universe and its collective to co-inspire with this happiness. I share my will with the universe and its collective to co-inspire with this happiness. I share my will with the universe and its collective to co-inspire with this happiness. Thank you for taking this moment. Your presence, being here and sharing with this video is valued. And appreciated.